That was quick, Chris.
I was fast.
You literally said 3, 2, and turned the camera on.
That's right.
Like,
I'm fast. Hey, speaking of fast, welcome
everybody.
Hey, that is right on the dot.
That was on the nose, on the dot, right on time.
Welcome in, everybody.
Law Dog, Dusty, Sarcastic, Rattlecan. What's happening, everybody?
We got some
Sup, my nerds?
old hammer today.
Sup, my nerds?
Oh, what up? How are we all doing?
I may have to deal with Mo later.
You guys playing Kingdom Death?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I was supposed to do it yesterday. Couldn't make it happen.
On your day off?
On my day off. I did not do a good job with the day off.
I knew it.
Being off.
I felt it in my soul. Like,
You wondered if I was actually doing?
I don't think he's...
I didn't play a single video game.
What? Dude, that's what you're supposed to do.
My whole day was literally around playing video games.
You're supposed to...
And playing with the dogs.
What'd you end up doing? You ended up working.
I wound up working.
Dang it.
I had a lot going on.
I
It was nice being able to work from home, though.
Well, there's a piece with that sometimes. Different atmosphere, actually.
It kept me focused, except for like when the dogs come in and do their silly dance and need to do their thing. But yeah,
it's a different kind of
focus. I was able to sink in and get focused on some stuff. It was all right.
Nice.
Hello, Tech Elf.
We're doing
Blood
some
Walrus,
old
Flapsack.
hammer.
What's going on, everybody? Lord of the Hunt. Paint Liquor.
Thumb palette.
Thumb Palette needs to change his name color.
Hey, the blues, you guys. I love the blues, but it's tough for me to read. But I know Thumb Palette because yours is long. Jason, USB-C craze. You take a day off, young man. There was a finger waggle in that one for sure.
I got a portion.
A portion.
I didn't have to be at the office at 7:45.
That's nice.
So I did like sit around in my shorts and do my morning internet stuff.
That's
and
right.
not feel the pressure. Jen made my coffee before she went to work.
Ooh.
She left Poppy at home, though, so I had both the dogs at home.
Oh.
So that was a little invasive.
Did they entertain themselves, though?
To some extent, yeah. By
To some
barking
extent.
way too loud.
Danger, what's up? Papa Chicken, you're right. No jokes today. Only pigment pushing. That's right. Yesterday, we had Jordan on doing a really fun explosion workup that came out really good.
I saw it.
It was fun.
It looked good. It was a Marvel Crisis Protocol thing, right?
I need to readjust your focus.
Get my focus right. Ta-da.
There you go. And we're back with some old hammer, some Inquisitor. Or is it a robot? No. This is an old Inquisitor, old hammer ray. We're doing some non-metallic gold. How you feeling about this?
I'm digging it.
I'm liking it.
I'm digging it. I'm
Where you going next?
We
with
left
this
off
bad
with
boy?
me starting to go back after we did the filter with the heavy bodied yellow, right? So I took the heavy bodied yellow and orange, the primary yellow and the pyrrole orange heavy bodied acrylics, and we mixed together a really quick glaze and glazed over the entire model to get that yellowishness back into it.
Yeah.
And then I was using the bright pale yellow to start doing the shine, bring the shine back.
Right. What are you gonna do now?
The same, because that we just started it.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's what I meant.
So
we're doing. What are you doing now? As in, right now.
I'm putting that on
There
the
it is.
palette, Christopher.
Hey, that you can
color
all
we just
see.
spoke about. I'm doing that.
God bless America.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Mo says, Jason, working on your day off. I can only assume you have some cool stuff in the works, and you should share with us because you really, really want to. Because you
Share
really,
with you.
really want to.
I should share something.
What do we got coming up?
Everybody's are out next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. That's right. That's an amazing segue.
The
next
Everybody Paints
Tuesday.
come out next Tuesday. That feels like a really good one, but they already knew that, right?
We announced it. Well, we've announced it this
I'm
week.
going to Poland for Contrast next week.
Yep.
That's really
Poland.
fun.
That'll be fun.
I'm excited to go see all my painting buddies in Poland.
Nice. Ray says, enlighten us on heavy bodies again.
What do you need enlightening?
Give us Ray's. I'm assuming, Ray, you're asking just a brief, like, why heavy bodies? Like, what?
So
what
heavy
are
bodied
they for them? Yeah.
acrylics give you the ability to go to kind of like, what I have been referring to as the source for pigment. They are as true as you're going to get with pigmentation So you get a tremendous amount of density, meaning more vibrancy, more color in general. And they can be thinned aggressively and still give you that intense, vibrant color. So that means that glazing is really the big thing. If you like to paint in multiple layers or glazes, then heavy bodies are going to change your life if you haven't already used them.
I'm excited to really give glazing a try.
Yeah,
I don't
it makes
normally
glazing
do that, but
it makes glazing easier in the sense of getting to the finish line quicker.
yeah.
But if you don't already have a comfort working with thin paint, it can be a little bit of a struggle because they are so intense. So, it's a funny one because I always say to people, if you're looking to start learning glazing, doing it with our liquid acrylics is probably the best way.
Okay.
Because they allow you, they will get down to that point to where they don't have as much impact quicker. And by doing so, allow you the freedom to kind of learn without messing things up. Whereas the heavy bodies are going to have a lot of pigmentation to them. It's like the transparent paints, right?
Yeah.
The transparent paints are something you have to get used to thinning down because they are so vibrant. Because the transparents are basically just heavy body paints in liquid form.
Yeah.
Which is the whole of the Pro Acryl line, but no more evident than with the transparents because they're single pigment, super intense colors, things like that. So, so learning to glaze with the normal line and the glaze wash medium is where I like people to start. But then once you get a feel for it, being able to take that and move into the heavy bodies is tremendous. Because if you've been around here for the last week or so, as I've been going through and doing some of this, it's amazing what you can get accomplished in just a couple of brush strokes.
Yes.
Because it doesn't require you to do 15 layers to build your color back up. You get it all at once.
We also are going to have next week, obviously on Tuesday, our heavy bodies come out. We're releasing a tutorial video with Jason explaining all of the benefits and such, and then later in the week we're releasing a video on glazing specifically with heavy bodies, so stay tuned for that. Give you a kind of a good combo next week of all the things you can do with them. What provides the maximum benefit, says Avian. Order the heavy bodies from my FLGS or directly from Monument Hobbies?
I don't know that one is better than the other. I like you supporting your local game store. I think that's awesome.
Yep. Yes, Avian, we're doing...
But if you want them immediately... So I will tell you this. They are not available for pre-order to stores like we would do with larger releases. So that, I guess, is the only real clincher. Is that if you want them quickly, ordering from us is the best way. The problem with these particular paints and retail is that there isn't a way for retailers to display them.
Right.
So we aren't forcing all retailers to pick them up right out of the gates. We're encouraging them to, but if we understand that they may not have a way to display them until we get the new display rack for retail, and that won't be for another few months. So they can carry them, they just have to figure out how to show them to customers. That's starting to look pretty good.
Even absolutely. You're gonna love them. I don't know why. This is kind of like a weird thing in my mind. I don't know why I assume the heavy bodies are just going to be easier for me personally to glaze with. I don't know why I have that in my brain right now.
You know, that's a very valuable thing to work with, though, because if you believe it, you can go do it, and it might just be true. You might find yourself willing to learn and more open to learn if you go into it thinking, oh, these are supposed to do it. You could also get upset because you'd be like, well, these don't make it easy at all.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I'd say to watch out for.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know if it's like the consistency or just, I don't know how my brain works, Jason. That's really what it comes down. That's really what it comes down to.
Nobody does, Chris.
Like, Chris, it would be a little bit easier to glaze with the liquid acrylics, but then my mind's like, nah, I got to put it backwards. I got to go the other way. Order one from each source and let us know if there's a difference in taste. False, Spaznat. We will not promote any of that. I see what you tried to do there.
Don't eat.
We love you supporting your FLGS. We do not love when you eat the paint. Because you shouldn't be doing that. Ray is saying, so I'm assuming heavy body is kind of thick like some of the other artist acrylics.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right? As a paste acrylic, it is very thick. It is the easiest way to look at our heavy body paints is to compare them to whatever other brand on the planet has a professional line, like Winsor Newton, Schminke, any of the top grade artist acrylics that you would find in professional art. That's what they are, but better, because they're better for painting 3D surfaces, because they're matte finish, they lay super flat, they don't peak. These terms are like if you're painting canvases, they don't have a thickness that leaves volume and shows brush strokes like you might want on a canvas. They lie like liquid acrylics will on the model. Very flat, no brush strokes, no texture that you don't want, but are made to be able to thin all the way from 0, use them thick and blend with them. They make wet blending a lot of fun. All the way to thinning them for glazes and such. So highly versatile. Probably the most versatile paints you can use. They're just are meant to be worked with. Right out of the tube, they don't offer you something that feels familiar because they're not liquid, so you need to thin them a little bit. But just a little bit of water on your brush, once you get used to it, works wonders. That's what I've been trying to show off.
Yeah.
Over the last week or so as we were doing the
it was really coming
Wraith Queen.
It was really coming together in my mind when you changed the armor from blue to green.
Yeah.
That's where it was really starting to click for me, watching the glazing part of that, right? And how easy it seemed like it was.
Oh, 100%, right? Because it gets so much intensity to your glaze.
Like right out the gate.
Yeah, you just have to be careful and understand how to dial that intensity in for your use. Because for some people, that intensity will give them too much color when they were looking just to shift it a little bit. And that's why I say you got to be careful using them to learn, because they do require you to, tone them down a bit.
Quazilla is asking, what kind of mediums are you bringing for the heavy body line, guys? Anything special?
Nothing. Not right now. The only thing, they will work with all of our current mediums, like the glaze wash and anything else like that. But we're not going to make any mediums built specifically for paste acrylics. There's no need. The whole goal with them is to give you more pigmentation per volume, or by volume, if you want to use that term. So that by the time you dilute them, you're not diluting the pigment and color load. You're just getting a less viscous fluid to paint with, if that makes sense. Whereas you cannot take that much pigment and suspend it in a bottle of paint. You can start with that much pigment and turn it liquid with your brush. That's what makes them so powerful. We always say that what sets ProAcryl apart is that it is artist grade acrylic made liquid. So we take all of that work out for you. But in doing so, you get a diluted paint. You get a reduced vibrancy, even in the best cases with like ProAcryl. So you can imagine taking a ProAcryl color and taking the water out of it for all intent and purpose, and some of the medium, the way the medium works, and the additives, and having it just be that pure pigment paint, right, that is paste. And now you've got so much pigment that you can go anywhere you want to with it. You can add a lot of water into it to thin it down and glaze with it and still have a lot of punchy color, or just thin it a little bit for layering and basing and have more vibrancy there. So they are just more true to form, what you would expect if the pigment were not diluted. And you're just never going to get that out of a liquid acrylic, no matter who makes it, no matter where it is. And ours are very punchy. Like ProAcryl is known for its vibrancy, because we use the same mentality when making it that we do with the heavy body paints.
D-Fresh, welcome in. Danger says, I like the idea of taking off the cap and dipping my brush into it. Really good way to save paint. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. That's kind of what I was thinking about doing with them too. Because I'll have the tendency to have a heavy hand when I'm putting paint on my palette. So I think I might just go straight from the bottle.
Very easy to do so.
Although I do like heavy body acrylics in general dried out on a palette. It gives me some kind of weird satisfaction.
They look kind of fun.
It is. Yeah. a part of me, right, actually really enjoys when you let your palette build up like that, like build up,
Yeah.
right? But at the end of the day, colors will get lost, but tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato has nothing to do with this. You're just saying words. No?
Yeah, tomato, tomato.
I'm just saying words.
That's my evergreen response for
to
everything.
whatever.
Yeah, tomato, tomato.
But that's not what it is. It's not a generic response thing.
Tomato, tomato. This guy's cyber leg should be painted silver, says Wad.
That's what I'm going to do. That's why it's not gold.
Is that why you're saying that, Wad? Are you keeping us on our toes, or are you stepping on our toes? You heard me. I'm watching you, Wad. You're a good guy. I like you. But, keep us on our toes. Gramp says, wow, it's been a while since I've seen you guys. Hope you all have been well. Yes, we're doing very well. Nothing but good things around here. On this fine, fine Therapy Thursday.
Therapy Thursday. We announced to the whole crew we're paying all their insurance.
Yes.
It was a big day.
Amazing day.
Big day around here. We had our staff meeting.
Yep.
Where we brought in our insurance specialist because it's new enrollment time. All
And
the fun stuff.
I will say, a very cool platform of making it more digestible.
Isn't that neat?
100%.
Yeah.
We've all seen the worst gamuts and versions of that, and that's pretty dang sleek, so.
Good.
Marmoset says, hey, random fun thing I wanted to mention. I just got some noosh and had great success mixing it with the Liquitex inks. Freaking fun times.
Yeah.
Nice.
You do it with our transparents too, right? If you like the Liquitex inks, you can mix it with our transparents, which are super vibrant.
Yeah. Graham says, are you hiring? Mo says, that's fantastic. Wait, what? I was blowing my nose and missed that. Wad, you missed nothing but all the good things. You missed all of that beautiful knowledge, Wad. Roadside Manager says this. I know you all probably hear this a lot, but I just wanted to say thank you for all the things you do. Since having moved us over to Pro Acryl, I feel like both myself and my brother are pushing ourselves even further in our painting journey than we already were. I have been able to get my vision for my Space Wolf armies to actually start coming to life on my models, so thanks again.
Man, that's awesome.
Love
Thank
to
you.
hear that.
Thank you for taking some time to let us know. That stuff really means the world because it shows that it's not just craziness that we're sitting here doing. It actually has some effect.
100%.
Right. So thank you. That's awesome. And you're also very welcome. We love doing what we do. We wouldn't do anything else. I get asked all the time. Okay, so what would you do if you weren't doing this? I'd be doing this. Like, well, that's not a choice. Well, sure it is.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't it a choice still?
Gotcha says, do you guys ever Zenithal highlight black and white? I normally do that, but I don't know how that works with how you guys paint. Jason's mentioned that before where he kind of already has it in his mind.
Yeah,
right? He knows where
it's
coming
a situation where I've been painting for over 45 years. And so for me, I kind of know where I want the light to go as I paint. And I have the flexibility to kind of move the light around as I see fit on the model as I start putting color down. But the Zenithal priming method is a great way to get used to that, right? It wasn't something that I learned until much later in my painting journey, believe it or not. It wasn't something that was talked about, in the world of painting when I was a kid. So I didn't know. And so I would just start models with, sometimes no primer at all, right? And then, or I'd primer them black and then work up from that. And I didn't realize that there was a way that you could kind of embed your highlight and shadow on there from the get-go as a guidepost, right? As a way to have a, we call it like a paint by numbers kit, because the ability to do that is very important. it can help you because the rattle can and the zenithal angle will allow you to see where light would actually hit the model. And use that as a guideline. I tell people a lot of times, if you're going to do that, make sure to take a picture of the model, like front, side, back, with the zenithal prime on there, so that if you do wind up painting with color that covers up the contrast you've created with the zenithal highlight, you still have that reference to show you where your highlight should be on that particular part of the model. That's a smart thing to do. Because if you're doing something like speed paint or glazing or filtering to get your color, then the white black zenithal has a lot of impact because it shows through. But if you're painting with opaque layers and not wanting to glaze, which is the way I paint, I don't do a lot of glazes early. I do most of my glazes late. And if you're doing it that way and building up color, it's very easy to cover up your zenithal very quick and lose track of where those highlights were supposed to be.
Bear Paw Miniatures has a question.
You want to do the trim on your Thousand Suns with this recipe. Any advice for batch painting except for don't? No, you definitely can. I do it on armies. I typically, when I'm doing that, I go through and I paint each color one at a time. So I'll do, like in this case, we use the dark yellow green as the base. I would go and paint all the trim on all my models, the dark yellow green. And then I would come back and do the next color on all my models, and then the next color on all my models, because when doing non-metallic, it can sometimes get a little daunting to remember. You know, you have a lot of repeatable shapes when you're painting, especially Space Marines. And so, you know, focusing on those repeatable shapes and doing them all in a big batch, like you're saying, is much better in my opinion. So, you know, painting each color across the whole army keeps it consistent and in your mind what you're doing with that color. If you sit and finish one and then finish another and finish another, eventually you get to the point where you're bored and it starts to look bad, you know, by like model 5 or 6. If you just do, you know, the batching of color, then it stays more consistent through the whole thing, in my opinion.
Isophist, thank you so much for that sub. 28 months.
Thank you. Awesome.
That's awesome. Question from Derpstick. What will be the workup for the silver leg?
I don't know yet. Wait a minute. Derp, are you trying to con me into saying I have a plan? Is that what that was?
Uh-oh.
You know who you're talking to, right? You're trying to wrangle out of me what I'm about to do? You've been here long enough to know I don't work with a plan. How dare you, sir?
I bet you it's going to include some stuff about non-metallic silver, though. Or steel, or metal.
Probably some Payne's gray and white blue, I think. If I must.
If I must. Pull my leg, why don't you?
If I must.
Gramp, yes. Jason is a fly by the seat of his pants kind of painter. Sun Palette Enthusiast says, might even include mixing in some goblin green.
You people. You people.
Paint Liquor says, Payne's gray, khaki, white, blue equals winning.
Khaki?
Khaki. Good old khaki.
Kind of deet and dooting here.
Letting the deets and doots do the talking.
Let the deets and the doots do the talking.
I like that. I like that for us. I like that. I am noticing the thing that you mentioned about this guy's little piece going on here that you're painting. Little studded cod piece. Very interesting choice.
You told me it's only a thing if you make it a thing.
Is it a thing?
You said it's only weird if you make it weird.
But then what you said is that now I'm also realized this man does not have any torso. It's a very weird
None at all. The anatomy of Space Marines is very wrong. Very, very wrong.
Derp6 says, apologies, I forget sometimes, LOL. I'm the opposite. I always need a plan. It's always why I ask for the exact colors used in schemes. Probably a bad habit.
No, not at all. Don't feel bad about it. It's just something that is, that's where you're most comfortable. I'm realizing I did not paint the inside of the thigh any color other than the dark yellow green.
Oh.
I know it's shadowed, but I'm now realizing that I probably should put a little bit more color on it because it looks like black primer. It's one of those things that as you go brighter,
okay, I see. Yeah.
as you go brighter, all of the colors around the bright area become darker. And even though like here, it doesn't look like I've even painted that, but it has the dark yellow green on there. It just doesn't have any of the other colors. So I need to put at least a little bit of yellow in there so that it reads as having been gold material.
Yeah.
And right now it doesn't, because we've gotten bright enough with the rest of the armor that this just reads as black primer, or, so dark that it doesn't register as having been painted at all, and we can't have that. So I will fix that really quick.
He's going to fix that for us, chat. Of course he has a torso. It's just half cod. Yes, that's another.
That's not how that works.
That's Punisher. I don't know if that's
Not
how
how that
anime works. Source says, whoop, whoop, nerds. Welcome in, Source. Roadside Miniature says, my personal painting style is a lot like Jason's. I just don't have the multiple decades of painting experience. LOL.
Nothing wrong with that. They're not about time. It's just, a lot of, I use the time as a part of like why I don't do certain things, because you tend to learn, you develop your own style, whether it's thought of or subconscious, on how you do particular actions. And for me, that's true of like not needing the Zenithal. I kind of define my light as I go.
Yeah.
But I applaud, using Zenithal as a method for sure. It's a very helpful tool. Hopefully you never hear me say, oh, that's just something noobs do. Because, that's that whole thing that bums me out about people saying, why are you dry brushing? Dry brushing's for noobs. And I'm like, incorrect.
Oh, yeah.
Dry brushing is for people who know how to use it. It's really that simple. Plays a little bit of the color in there, and that gives me a foundation now that feels like it's more goldish.
Yeah.
And then I can take just a pinch.
Source says, I dry brush cause Jason said it's for noobs. False. False, Source. That's false. Falsities. You just said it wasn't. I see what you're trying to do there.
Well, dry brushing is definitely for Source.
Oh. Whoa, no, he did in fact say it was, says Source. But washes are for noobs, right? No, washes.
No.
Hey, nobody's a noob.
Some processes help new painters achieve great results quicker. And so I think that's where that comes from. But those techniques are something that all of us should keep in our toolbox no matter what, because they definitely will help you at some point. I still use washes. I typically use them not as a finisher. I use them as a way to achieve movement and color in the middle of the model, like in the middle of my technique.
Yeah. That's right, Mo. It's just another tool in the toolbox.
There we go. Now I got it.
Just another tool in the toolbox, Mo. That's right. That's looking great. I did catch a lot of flack about using the Griselda techniques with speed paints. I don't know what that means.
Underpainting.
Underpainting?
Yeah.
Oh, with speed paints, aka slap chop. But people kind of stopped once they saw what I was doing with it. It kind of makes me giggle a bit, says Roadside.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Every technique is viable. We underpaint for value and for color and whatever. I teach using underpainting for skin, armor. See me do it all the time. I typically use value through color. So like dark purple, you know, the red into yellow green, that kind of stuff, so that I'm getting twofold the work done.
Yeah.
Because you desaturate color very hard when you paint white and black and then glaze over the top. Your layer over the top gets desaturated by the white and the black. And so if you can do it, if once you learn that and learn the importance and learn value and where value goes, then being able to do it just with color that achieves that value at the same time maintains vibrancy, which is usually what gets lost along the way. But there are people who can do amazing things with it too. So there is no right and wrong. It's all about what gets your model to the finish line and you confident and being able to achieve it repeatable manner. And if that's it, do it. Don't listen to anybody that tells you otherwise, whether you're dry brushing, whether you're, you know, slap chopping, whatever that means.
Yeah, if a technique brings some satisfaction to you and you like how it turned out, that's all that matters.
100%.
Source says, just another tool in the kitchen sink. Source.
That's not where you should be putting your tool.
Oh.
Your tools.
Oh. Oh, my.
Don't put your tools
Hey,
in
speaking of kitchen sinks, welcome in, everybody. If you're just now tuning in, we are so glad you're here. Where have you been? Lord of the Hunt says, Jason, red and yellow green. I never thought of that. Nice. Yeah.
What's that?
Jason he says, Lord of the Hunt says, Jason, red and yellow green. I never thought of that. Nice.
For what?
What are you talking about there, Lord of the Hunt? Are you talking about on his palette? Dark yellow green? Yellow green? What are you talking about? Rizzo says that heavy body looks halfway between oils and hobby paint. Could be a really interesting middle point.
They're great.
Yeah.
They give you the ability to blend really nicely. You're dealing with pure pigment paint, so you get the color you intend. Now, this is all stuff that you also get with our liquid acrylics and pro acryl because we make them the same way as we do the fine art heavy acrylics. That's what sets us apart from other brands. But the heavy bodies still give you, better clarity of pigment than anything else will, and allow you to be super flexible in how you dilute, like we were talking about before, for glazing and such.
Oh, okay, Lord of the Hunt. Lord of the Hunt says, no, I thought Jason mentioned using red as an undertone and using yellow-green on top. I might have heard that wrong.
Oh, I was talking about two different things.
Oh,
I
yes.
use reds and purples as undertones for flesh. I don't have any red on this guy. This is all dark yellow green, and such.
I'm very excited how you'll do this face.
Yeah, I think that might be what we do next.
I'll make a little bit out of it.
A little bit?
Little face bit.
Little face bit?
I like it because I know it looks old school, but I love how this face looks for some reason. It just gives me that hit of nostalgia.
Bald guy. He's like balding.
Yeah, it just gives me like a hit of nostalgia, and it looks like a decent canvas to paint a face on.
It's just a weird, wonky sculpt.
It's weird. I'm curious to see more curious to see how you approach it than anything.
Yeah.
That's my TED Talk.
That's thanks. Thanks for that, Chris. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. I applaud you. Your efforts are bar none the best in the biz.
I guess so. Shadowcast is asking for a reminder on the gold non-metallic work up here again.
What colors I'm using?
Yeah, just from the bottom.
Based with dark yellow green,
mm-hmm.
and then into yellow green. then a combo 50-50 of yellow-green and yellow ochre, then yellow ochre by itself, then pale yellow as a highlight. Then we mix the heavy-bodied primary yellow and pyrrole orange together and glaze that back over the top of the whole thing. That's what gave it this kind of punchy, more yellow warmth. And then I'm going back with bright pale yellow as a final shine highlight here.
Flapjack says, I've heard you can use a bright yellow green to highlight red to keep it from going either orange or pink. Haven't tried it yet, though. That's an interesting workup.
I'm not going to say no, but I tend to use, I think you get better mileage out of things like a flesh tone. Something that, you know, keeps you on target with the peachy pinkish reds. You know, like shadow flesh, tan flesh, things like that work really well. Greens and reds make browns, so that I would be careful of.
Shadowcast says, so could I use transparent yellow in place of the heavy body acrylic?
Yes. Yeah, you could take transparent yellow and transparent orange. Less transparent orange, right? You're going to just want to focus mainly on the yellow. Just enough orange to get the yellow to not be as banana. Does that make sense?
Banana.
I don't want a banana yellow. I want it to...
I want a non-banana yellow.
To be a warm yellow. Yeah, you can do that.
Lord of the Hunt says, I did steal from a painting red method Jason used for a Chibi Magneto and started with dark plum and went to a 1-to-1.
Oh, it's so good.
Mix of dark plum and burnt red. It worked pretty good on Crimson Dynamo.
Oh, yeah. On
Nice.
Dynamo would be good, too. That's the model we painted at my class at Adepticon.
Yeah. Are you doing any more classes at Nova?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. Nope. That was a rarity. That was because
once in a blue moon.
AMG, as part of our deal, as we made the colors with them, kind of caught me in a weak moment. They're like, hey, any chance
you could do some Crimson Dynamos for us?
You want to come do a class with us in our rooms?
Surprise, surprise, 98% of the people in there were the people who are right here with us in chat.
We had quite a few people who knew the stream. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's great. That is great. We had a great time. I had a great time in that class.
Okay.
Watt said it was only 75%. That's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. There were quite a few people there who had never even known who we were.
Yeah.
One of them was fantastic. He kept coming up to me during the show saying, "My God, I just have to come and tell you thank you again. It was so great." And I was like, "Awesome." And I think he came and joined the stream.
And that's it. That's right. Where it's like, I love it when people realize that you guys are doing this every day.
What we do
says it was a glorious class.
Make great paint and then teach you how to become great with it. The stuff nobody else can do.
Flapjack said, "Oh, I know you did. Oh, I had a great class. I loved giving you guys crap in real time."
He did too, by the way.
Just a little bit. Just a little sprinkle. A little of like face me in real life, you know? Y'all can hide behind these keyboards of you, but one of these days I'll come find you.
Oh, here we
go. And then
chat.
that'll be the real retribution.
Here we go, chat. Chris, all tough talk.
I would never. Terrence Watkins.
Tough
hey,
talking
Jay.
Chris.
2 questions. 1.
I want to paint the red shoulders before we do the skin.
That's fine. I'll allow that.
I might paint the steel before we paint the skin too.
Is that the last thing you're gonna paint?
And I might paint the skin last.
Well, you do that because of the brightness, don't you?
No.
Oh.
I just feel like I want to see, because the gold is the main thing on the model.
That's true.
I want to see how all the things that sit next to the gold look.
Sure.
The skin does, But
that's fine. Don't matter to me. I think actually the skin will be better last anyway for content.
There you go. Because then it pulls the model together.
Yeah. And no, you want to know what really pulls the model together?
Oh, here we go. Here's the green base thing.
No, I was gonna say your passion and love and kindness.
You're
That's
such
really
a liar.
Whoa!
You're such a liar. What you meant to say was painting the base.
No. I truly meant like, nah, dude. Your love and passion for this model. And the green base. Terrence Watkins has a question. 2 questions, really. Number 1, I have transparent red. What other colors would recommend for a BA scheme? A BA scheme.
Blood Angels.
2, when highlighting cloaks, you want shadows on the sides of the folds and the brights on top and inner parts? ?
So you're on the let's answer the cloak one first.
Okay.
Right? So the cloak one, you're typically wanting your highlights on the high spots, right? So the dips in between the folds of the cloak. Let's see if we can find something here. I have a white one. We have a Horus.
Oh yes.
Right. So on Horus Ascended here, right? He has a pretty dusty cloak.
I for a second I thought that's something beautiful you added. I'm
No.
like, whoa, dude.
No.
I never took a look at it.
So
Anyway.
keeping his in a very desaturated red palette, you can see that my darker kind of plum purples go into the wrinkles in between the high spots, and then the high spots tend to then navigate out towards my brighter color, right? So that's how I do it. Understanding that, like down in here, there might be a little light that protrudes as it flares out. So I've got a little bit of brighter red at that bottom of that fold there, a little bit here, right? So I'm just looking at how it kind of undulates and where the light might hit once I pick my direction, which is this, right? So I don't want to see too much shadow from my lighting direction. And then, from my shadow direction, I want to see very little of the bright red. Okay. So that's the goal. And you're just picking your light source, if it's top down, left to right, bottom up, however you decide you want to do it. So that's that. Now, for painting reds on Blood Angels, I like the scheme that we've been using on ours that is a Payne's gray shadow. So it's a dark blue-black shadow, right? And then into dark plum, and then bold pyrrole red. And then for my highlights, I start adding warm flesh into bold pyrrole red. So it keeps it from going too pink. It keeps it in kind of a peach tone or a salmon tone. We called it eclectic salmon when we were doing it.
Salmon.
But you've got like that salmony, not quite pink or orange or anything highlight, and then pale pink as the edge shine. So those little bright spots. Can you punch in real close? Mm-hmm. Look across his gorget. And like that top little dot on the shoulder plate and the edges on the backpack there, that's all done with pale pink.
Pale pink, okay.
Pale pink, just little deets of pale pink. You're not using a whole lot of it. It's just used to grab the absolute brightest pinpricks of light across the armor to give it some shine. But I really like that workup. I think the bold pyrrole red over the dark plum and the Payne's gray give a really, really good depth to red. So that's my preference. I really like that.
Are you making... Okay, can you clarify where the eclectic salmon came from? That color.
Somebody called it electric salmon.
Electric salmon.
And I was like, it's eclectic salmon or something. Something happened in chat. I blame chat.
Okay. Will that color ever come to fruition?
Yeah, it is on my list. It just hasn't fit into any of our releases yet. So.
Right.
But yes, it will.
It's the chat signature.
It's a great color. A very usable color for highlighting red.
Yeah, because you're right. It's not like pink or orange. It's just that really nice in between.
Yes.
Deadbeat Artist says, I for one appreciate that Chris doesn't use his powers for good and not evil. That's right.
Wait, that he uses his powers for good?
That Chris does and not evil. I think you meant to say, deadbeat artist, that Chris does use his power for good and not for evil. I believe that's what you meant to say. As a videographer, I will be the king of blackmail if you ever cross me. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Are you talking to me?
What? No. Hey, welcome in, everybody. This is Jason. I'm Chris. Topher. And welcome to the chat. We're so glad you chose Monument Hobbies today on this flight. We are 35,000 feet cruising altitude. It is a beautiful sunny day. Thursday, in fact, here in Arizona, Phoenix. And it's Thursday for the rest of the world, too, I believe. Not the rest of the world, but you know what I mean.
It's Phoenix. It's
here in Phoenix, it's Thursday.
Thursday in Phoenix.
I don't know what day it is for you all out there.
But for you, but
today it's Thursday. Chris uses his powers to gaslight. False. Panic bomb. I am not that person. Finn Quinn says, Chris videos everything. I do. Blood Walrus says, well, yeah. Don't you cross me ever, Blood Walrus. I know where you live. I don't. Lumberjack Tim, welcome in. We had a staff meeting today, an all-staff meeting, which is great.
These guys the union wrangled more money out of us today.
The union. Spaznet says, it was electric salmon, a cross between electric eel and salmon, but PETA was setting up a protest about genetic manipulation, so we had to change it to eclectic salmon. I see.
Give that man a book deal.
Give that man a book. A book deal. Topher, when did you start at Monument? Holy crap, it's been a while since I've been here. Oh, wow. I started... No, that's
Who's saying that? Grandpa Stump. What's going on, man?
Stump. I officially started here last February. Officially. General Ginkgo says, I kind of want to cross Chris to see what happens. I wouldn't.
I would highly recommend it.
What?
It is comical.
What? Comical?
This man...
What? Oh, I will
swear like a sailor.
I won't.
Make threats he can't live up to.
Threats I can't live up to.
Call his mom when you make him cry.
Hey, mama. You should have seen what chat did to me today.
He's always doing that, Chad. He's always doing that.
Oh, mama, bella mama. Graham says, nice. Jason, you're lovely as always. How's Jentastic?
She's doing great. She was here during our staff meeting. She's headed back to the house. She works from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. She's got, we just instituted our new insurance policy, so she's working with everybody to make sure they get their insurance forms filled out. She's got her work cut out for her. That everybody has to have everything filled out by Tuesday.
I gotta do that. I gotta do that tonight.
Yeah.
That's my reminder.
But yeah, things are good.
I wouldn't do it, General Ginkgo. I wouldn't do it. This is looking good, Jason.
I am not displeased.
I am not displeased. Good. That's great. Thank God. I am not displeased with my work.
I am not displeased. It's like we were talking about before the stream started. We were like, well, that doesn't taste like garbage.
Well, that doesn't taste...
Does that mean it tastes good, or
no,
where are we at in this whole spectrum of things?
If something doesn't taste like garbage, is that it's okay and okay to eat.
Where are we at with this whole picture here?
I don't know. I was on that same brain like when you started singing that. Chris, you shun my cookies at your peril. I would never shun your cookies, Blood Walrus. I would never shun your cookies. But if I do receive food from chat via the mail, I will not be eating it. Let me make that very clear. I'm just going to throw that out there. If you all ever send me food personally, it's not getting eaten.
What?
Personally. Because I don't know.
You don't know where it came from?
Who knows?
I can't trust these
Here,
people.
this bag of cookies is for Jason and Jen. This bag is for Chris. Well,
I mean, that's
well,
kind of
well.
how Chuck and Jade give us bread. This bag with all the goodies in it is for Jason.
I know.
Here's one for the rest of you.
But there's the rest of you. Now, if there's a rest of you, I could do that. But if there's ever one specifically for me from chat, not doing it.
Oh, okay. Don't ever make anything
Here's
with
the
just
bag.
Chris's name.
Here's
Here's
the
the
bag.
one for Monument and Chris.
Yeah, here's the bag, and here's the single solo one cookie for Chris. Okay. See what?
Here's the magical one for Chris.
Nigel says, what pro acrylic paints should one use for painting wizards' butt? For painting wizards' butts. Oh, okay.
I mean, wait a minute.
Wait a second. No, painting wizards' butts. So, what color skin tone is your wizard? That's the first question I'll ask.
Are these clothed or unclothed butts?
I'm assuming this is a butt that's out in the,
just like all out there.
all out there. He's mooning them.
Full moon.
Ah, that's no moon.
Somebody was asking about Blood Angels colors, so I'm going
Yeah.
to paint with the colors that I use on my Blood Angels here by brush.
What are you doing here?
We're using Payne's Gray as a base for these red shoulder plates. So always start your red with blue, because that makes sense. If you're here at Monument Hobbies,
It does make sense if you've been around.
if you've hung out here long, it does make sense, and not very many people question it. But if you're new here, you're like, this guy's insane. Why is he painting red with blue first? It gives it a nice, cool shadow.
Jason, I have a very odd question for you.
Should I expect anything less?
Have you ever seen Thumb Wars?
Thumb Wars.
Thumb
Like-
Wars, yeah.
Like,
The knockoff movie from Star Wars, not Spaceballs.
oh, no,
but
no,
like-
no, no. I
There's
have
this
not.
there's Thumb Wars. You've never seen Thumb Wars?
No.
Okay. That any of the Thumb movies where it's the talking thumbs like Thumbtanic?
No.
I feel like it's totally up your alley.
No, I've not. This is not something that I have
No.
heard of. Is this like YouTube content? Or
No,
is this
it's
like...
old. I don't remember if it's like old. Just somebody's gonna have to. Somebody's gonna have to figure out where
Was
that
it
was
like
from.
SNL
I don't
kinda
know if it
stuff?
was SNL or if it was in Living Color or if it was just. I don't remember. Let me look it up. Wars.
I don't think you're old enough to remember In Living Color, Christopher.
Oh, that's where I have you fooled. It was in 1999. It was just a funny spin-off. I'll look it up later, but I think it's right up your alley. Rattlecan says, we, the chat, need Payne's Gray Primer. Just saying.
Well,
Well,
well.
I like how you said that, Rattlecan. Thank you.
So it's not one we're working on.
I like how
You
you
get
said
dark
we.
purple, and you're happy with it. That's what you get. You get dark purple, and you take it as a win, and you leave me alone.
And you leave me alone.
You've gotten all you're getting out of me. I won't be bullied anymore.
The old one says, here's a question from Mommy Hobbies. Is it better to shade with a color other than black? If so, are there any rules that a newbie could apply, like using dark purple for red or blue, or do you just have to do trial by and error?
So there's a really easy answer here that chat will already have said probably, is that I am a big fan of dark purple. Purples work for everything as a shadow color except purple. Okay? Because it straddles a mix of colors that are both warm and cool. You have blue on the cool side and red on the warm side. So it can lean either way depending on the color it's next to. If you put purple next to blue, it appears warmer than the blue in most cases. If you put purple next to red, it appears cooler than the red in most cases. So the idea of shadow is to think principally as shadows being cooler tones. So blues, purples, things like that. And if you stay in that mentality, you're great until you go to cool colors, until you're painting ultramarines. What do you do for ultramarines? You know, and so if you're painting something that is largely blue, I tend to go to purple shadows. If you're painting something that's largely purple, I go to blue shadows. Okay, so you can still live in that realm. So between dark blue and dark purple, you can shade literally everything you ever do, right? Now, there are some caveats to that, because when you're working with like Imperial Fist and painting yellow, yes, you can do it, but you need to have a really good confidence and painterly touch to make either of those colors work as a shadow for yellow, because obviously any blues over the yellow are going to start giving you some layers of greens as you filter that, and you need to be careful of that because it can ruin the idea of the cool nature of the shadow, but still doable. And same with the purple, right? If you put the purple over the yellow, you can get a little bit too reddish, and so you need to be careful with that. So that takes a little bit more confidence and experience to get those to work on things like yellows, some oranges, you know, but outside of those, and for those, like if you're doing yellows, you can move into dark browns, black browns, dark oranges if you want warm shadows on them, things of that nature. I typically do agree, though, that black is your last choice. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use a black wash to get your initial value of shade on a model, and then go back over where the black wash built up to show you where you want your shadows, and then layer that with a little bit of purple or blue and have it be kind of bluish black, purplish black. That works really well. And for a lot of people, rather than painting your shadows on before you know where they go, using a wash can help you get there. It again is like doing a zenithal highlight. It can show you where the darkness is intended to be, and then you can put your color over that when you need to.
Cool.
Jason AI. Do we have Jason AI?
No, I said, because Orky Fish says, wow, Jason's back, or is this a rerun? Sun Palette says, oh, it's a rerun, or it's really good AI.
Or
and
just
I
really
said,
good AI.
it's IRL Jason, beep boop.
Beep boop.
Beep
Jason.
boop.
Yes, beep boop.
Beep boop.
Is that Philip?
No, this is Orky Fish. I said this is
said beep
IRL Jason, beep boop. Sun Palette gave us a screaming face, and Grant says, party people. Welcome in, Grant. Philip says, if this isn't a short tomorrow, Christopher's fired. Hey, Philip, eat my shorts.
Eat my chonies.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Suck it, Christopher.
No, I won't do it.
Oh my God, Payne's Grand Dark Plumber, so good.
Boo-Ray says IRL Jason beep boop. That's right.
I've never in my life walked around and just beep booped.
Never beep booped. Poor Jason talking about awesome painting advice, and I poop in with my silly coffins. I hope you mean poppin', because if you're pooping in, we got some major problems, Orky Fish.
I just pooped myself.
I 100% know you were saying pop, but I had to take advantage of that.
I just walked in and pooped myself.
Hey, chat.
Jason's doing the God's work, and I'm pooping myself.
That's hilarious. Yes, Terrence, he did the Payne's Gray underneath this.
Yep. Payne's Gray.
It was fast, and it was quick, and it was efficient. It's Payne's Gray and what?
Then Dark Plum. I'm painting with now. Dark plum.
But you have duded. No, we're not doots and deets here. We're deets and doots. We've made that very clear in the past. And the two countries met together, the country of deet and the country of doot. They shook hands, and it is now deets and doots.
That's not a thing.
Isn't that right, Jason?
There is no country of deet and country of doot.
Deets.
Don't make this more than it is, dude. This is just painting.
Hey, whoa. Oh, just painting? No, this is a lot more. Detoria? Yes, that's right. Dusty Hobbies, Dootland and Detoria.
I come from Dootland.
Dootland and Detoria. Paint Liquor. Where is Paint Liquor? Paint Liquor, did I highlight that? You say Paint Liquor. Are you in here? Oh, Paint Liquor. I know Paint Liquor said a quote from Thumb Wars, I believe. Earlier. We'll have to look that up for chat later. Pro Paint Taster says, everyone go back. Everyone go check out Words of Vengeance. Typing games are the greatest subgenre of games ever made. No. Grant, no. False. Mavis speaking will never take my money ever again. Terrence Watkins says, will you use the same workup with an airbrush, or would you come in with brush at a certain point?
With this red?
Yeah.
I would do the same workup with airbrush. I would paint the airbrush all the way to the edge highlights generally, depending on the shapes, right? There might be a time where you have to stop early because you're incapable of getting a highlight color on there or whatever. But like the marine that I showed you here,
yep.
This guy's all airbrush up until the eclectic salmon.
Okay.
And even that first layer was done with an airbrush, and then I came back in and did the brush to tighten it up.
Nice.
The brush work at the end of airbrushing puts a focus back on it, because airbrush is very out of focus looking because it paints in a lot of dots, right? And so if you're not careful, you have to come back in and tighten that up, give yourself good crisp edge highlines and things like that, so that you don't have that out of focus blurry blending that airbrush gives you. So sometimes a quick glaze of a color over the top of it can help. Just depends. All right. So after that, bold pyro red, man.
Bold pyro red.
Man. Dude, man. Man, dude.
Wad says, oh, nice. Words of Vengeance is out now. I know what I'm doing this weekend.
This is a thing?
It's probably a new word typing game.
Words of Vengeance? I don't get it. I don't get these kids these days.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't understand kids these days. They're wacky games.
Bolt Gun? Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun Words of Vengeance.
What?
Oh, is this the new bolt gun that's coming out? It's just, okay, Grant, you confused me with it's a typing game, but maybe that was your joke. Oh, wow, that's old. It's back. Oh, no. Wait a second. Oh my gosh, you have to type to kill? What? Oh my gosh, Jason. Look at this really quick. I'm sorry, watch this. You have to type to kill? What?
Not even interested.
There's no way.
Not even slightly interested.
Bolt guns, Words of Vengeance. Oh my gosh, wow. Grant says it's amazeballs.
I mean, if you're into that sort of thing.
Grant, I don't know. I got to take everything you say with a grain of salt. You know?
He does know.
Grant says, I'm streaming it this weekend. 3 people might watch me play. Grant, I'll hop in. How about that? I'll watch.
I will not be there. I will not support this gratuitous display of nonsense.
Jason, you got to be in there. You got to hop in.
I will not. I have to take my car in for an oil change on Saturday. I get to go have all the fun.
Actually, I got to do that too.
I'm surprised I remembered to schedule it.
You did that on your day off.
I wanted to do it before I got out of town.
Did you do that? Did you schedule it on your day off?
Yes.
There you go. You did something that wasn't, well, work.
That feels like work.
That feels like more work than actual work, probably.
It does.
That feels like the ultimate I have to work.
Yeah. I'm mixing the dark plum and the bold pyro red for this first pass because I want to get the blend on these curved shoulder pads really nice. So I'm mixing in between colors before we just go straight to red. And what I'll do is I'll add less and less of the dark plum to the bold pyro. Because we've got, on the shoulder pads too, we have a lot of space. So the reality is we can, you know, do 1 or 2 passes of color here and build it up so that the punchy red doesn't just sit, you know, kind of crazily atop all the rest of the colors we've done. Pyro red is a very, very punchy color.
I'm sure it'll add a lot to it once you start putting it on there. Got to have a lot of work up before you get there, I guess.
Again, we're dealing with a spherical shape. So getting a good blend is all about pulling that kind of, you know, starburst that I showed last week.
Yep.
It's about doing that, but much bigger now, right? Because we're painting the entire thing, not just a highlight. We got to paint the whole shoulder with a brush. Airbrush, if anybody ever asks why you need an airbrush, it's if you paint Space Marines to paint their damn shoulder plates. That's why you need an airbrush. That's the only reason you ever need an airbrush.
Okay.
Space Marine shoulder plates. Because painting anything spherical is just, you know, child's play when you have an airbrush. Pop in real close on that.
Yeah.
Right? You can see how we're getting a nice blend through from that deep blue through all of the reds. The plum.
I'm really glad we did this series. The old hammer.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Obviously, it's the same style techniques you do on a daily base, right? But it just is a cool new, it's just almost like just a new fun canvas.
Well, yeah. And, you know, we're painting this in a way we're not using airbrush on it, right? This is something where airbrushes weren't a dime a dozen like they are. You couldn't buy them, the Masters airbrush, off Amazon back when this model came out. Right. So using techniques that I would have used back in the day when we were painting this guy the first time.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Just really quick layering as we go. Making sure you're noticing that my brushstroke is always going from the dark bottom edge of the shoulder plate up towards the highlight spot at the top center. That's what gives us the ability to build up that blend.
Agrippa, that's awesome. Agrippa says, after watching all the gold non-metallic metal Jason has done, I finally gave it an honest shot, and I didn't hate it. Helps to have good paint on top of hearing the right way to do things over and over. Agrippa, that is the mantra of the stream.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's literally
Nailed
the
it.
mantra.
You've been here before. Nailed it.
Jason will say the same thing.
A million times.
But each way is different because it's a different approach. And that will just click with certain people at a different time. That's why it feels so different every day. But at the end of the day, they're all very similar things. It's just the reframing of it.
Unless you've been here for 8 or 9 years, if you're here over 100 months, it probably just all sounds the same.
Maybe. That's true.
I'm not going to try to say I'm
not going to try to pull the wool that far.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to pull the wool on that part. If you've been here for 8 years, you're just here because you're a masochist, because it's just all the same past the point.
Now, I'm hoping people, you know, I'm curious to how many people paint and watch the stream at the same time or have it in the background.
Quite a few.
I would
people
assume
all the time,
so.
They're like, oh my God, I always have the stream on when I'm painting. It's so great.
Yeah.
Right, so now the Pyro Red, I'm starting to glaze lightly over the top, and you'll see that start to gain more of the red feel. And because it's a lighter glaze, I can pull it down into the shadows, because as I add more of the red, the purple bluishness of my shadows will really start to stand out. And I'll go over it with the red from time to time to just kind of bring it back into play. Right, so it feels like it's not two-tone, it's just the shadow on the red shoulder plate. And again, this is just done with 2 colors, you know, other than the Payne's Gray base coat. The idea being that you're really just trying to mix those 2 colors at various levels. More dark plum in the beginning, less right now, where, well, actually right now I'm all Bold Pyro Red. I'm just very, very thin with it, so it's not going to have a huge impact this pass.
Jason, what brush is this? Is this the number 1 or the number 3?
This is the Dauntless number 1. My number 3 needs to be cleaned really, really bad. All right, so now you see a little less water, so now we're moving towards the, you can see the whole progression here. Now we're up to really just Bold Pyro Red. Switch to the other shoulder. I don't want to get either one of these too wet all at once, so if I do a pass on one shoulder, switch colors, move to the other shoulder, come back to the last one. And now you'll see I'll just do most of my brush strokes from about the halfway point, choose the midpoint, and then bring that brush stroke up to the highlight area.
Little Billy asks, what Legion is this?
This is an Inquisitor, believe it or not. Back in the day, you could have an Inquisitor with power armor and Terminator suit. That's not a thing anymore, for what I hope are obvious reasons, but...
Gavisaurus asks, how long do the new brushes last before tip curl?
I mean, they've been lasting me a long time. If you go watch my Chase the Point video, though, you'll see how I treat brushes so that you get a lot longer use out of both synthetics and sables. And that's based around every time you do a brush stroke. So if I start with a nice point like this, every time I do a brush stroke, the point starts to flatten out, right? And so the heavier hand I have, the more I push on it, the more it flattens out to where now, right, I no longer have that point, but if I rotate it 90 degrees, I have the point back. So then I paint with that fine point again, and then when it flattens out, rotate it 90 degrees. So I call it chasing the point. If you do this, you're always causing the point of the brush to bend in a different direction, and you won't form a memory as quickly. Synthetics will still have tip curl over time, but that'll prevent it from happening for a long time. So if you get yourself in the habit of doing that and painting that way, which I just do kind of subliminally, it's not even something I think about anymore. But if you commit to really thinking about making that happen, you will improve the lifespan of every brush, even your sables that you have. Because the problem with the sable is that as it sees continual deflection in one direction that we paint, the hair breaks. Right? Synthetics bend. They can also break, but synthetics tend to bend first. And sables don't form a curl over time. They just get fatigued and break. Just like the hair on your head.
Killjoy has a question. I have the petroleum brown gloss from the signature set. It doesn't really cover. Is it supposed to be used as a wash, or did I get a bad bottle?
No, it's like a filter. It's very translucent. It doesn't act like a wash, meaning that it won't just immediately run into the recesses. It stays where you put it, but it is meant to be see-through. It is more of a transparent effect paint. You can get it with a couple of coats to be more opaque, but it is meant to be like an oil stain, petroleum stain type of effect.
Now,
mix it with other colors, glaze with it, use it as a filter on skin. It has so many uses.
For a fun, going off of what Jason just said, Killjoy, petroleum brown, transparent brown, and noosh will give you a really cool oily effect on your rusted metals and such. I did that on one of my orc stampas, and it came out phenomenal. I doused it, and it just got everywhere with the noosh, and then when I wiped it off, it left a really cool, just overall oily feel, like petroleum oil, like motor oil, you know?
You see me glazing, glazing, glazing. I'm doing it over lots more layers here so that I get a more desaturated color. You want to pop in close on that, right? And you see that smooth blend. No brush strokes. You get a really nice blend, but this is a way you can do it without having to use an airbrush, but we get a very airbrush looking highlight because all my brush strokes go from the shadow end of the plate up to the top center point, right? That really accentuates that gold too. It makes that gold look much brighter. And this is all done with just the water on my brush. I leave more water on my brush after I pull it out of the cleaning cup. If I notice it's too red like that right there, then I just wipe off more paint on my thumb palette and then go back to it. Constantly my brush stroke from the shadow to the highlight, covering almost down all the way to completely cover the shadow, but because the red is so thin, that just blends it each time.
Killjoy says, is the red gloss the same? I'm assuming you're talking about the dark crimson.
Dark crimson is very similar, yes.
Rattlecan, you need to do that workup on stream. You know what? At some point I could. I have 2 Morkanauts I got to do. I'm going to do them just like my Stampa. And just douse them with noosh.
Douse them with noosh.
I did use a lot.
You did.
It was great, though. I truly... it was more of a weather effect that had just made it look like a dirty machine.
Yeah.
Like just I was going for a garbage can.
Next level.
Yeah.
More brightness, less water, and now tighter brush strokes. Stay up here around the top edge. Get some of my edge highlighting done here. And then just really light brush strokes, again, pulling from the shadow up to the highlight. Edge over here.
Orky Fish Meat says, how do you use noosh?
And then light brush strokes from about the middle up to the highlight. Use your finger to smudge blend in between like that. And now you'll see the top getting brighter and brighter and more towards an actual red. How do you do what?
How do you use noosh?
Watch the video is the easiest way for me to tell you that, rather than explain it here when I'm not using it. You mix it with paint, whatever color you like, and then you typically put it over the surface of the model and then remove it with a, I mean, if you watch the Artist Opus version of it, they remove it with their finger. Byron really liked using his finger to remove it. But I use like a makeup sponge.
I'll clip it for you, Orky. Or send you the link. Good one.
Yeah, it's a revolutionary product. You can mix any color into it you like. And then, I mean, really just go to town. Put it all over the model and use it as a grimy, muddy dirt filter. Or just do certain parts and make rusty areas. Paint specific areas with it. Use it to help you wet blend better. It's a really cool kind of silver bullet for acrylic paints in general because it allows them to take longer to dry. So anything you need to have the paint workable longer is a possible contender for noosh. Not all things, because it is still meant to be a paint you paint on and take off. So, you're not going to create washes with it. Although we've had people that have done that. So here I am saying, no, do what you want. just realize you might run into some problems if you're trying to use it as a wash, because it will take it a long time to dry if you thin it way down.
Yeah.
And then put it on the model and expect the color to just sit there and dry. It's meant to be taken off, and the residual color left behind dries fairly quickly and gives you what you want. If you slop it on there and walk away, it will eventually dry. It won't stay wet forever, but it takes a long time.
That Stampa, because I left a lot on. Like, just physically, I left a lot on. It took a second, but when I had the patience and let it dry, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Graham says, Jason, my best friend gifted a 2K point orc army for my birthday. Nice. I was painted by another close friend who happens to have taken third in Golden Demon several years ago.
Nice.
I truly do not deserve my friends and have done nothing to warrant anything like that. I just received the display case I ordered. Nice. That's dope.
Very, very cool.
It sounds like some good friends you got there.
This is our Grant?
No, Gramp.
Oh, Grandpa's Thumb.
Yeah, Grandpa's Thumb.
Okay. I thought you said Grant.
No, Grandpa's Thumb.
I was like, our Grant definitely doesn't deserve
Grandpa's
that.
Thumb.
Is he still in chat?
Yep. Orcs are the best, says Grant. Yes. I do like orcs. Orcs are fun. I like orcs because they have big machines that I can use the rusty metal technique on. Because
so can I stop you real quick?
I
because
like
you
that
started
orcs.
This with, I like orcs because, and it sounded like the kid at school who had to do the quick report in like second grade.
Are you making fun of me?
Tell us why. Tell us something you really like, Christopher.
Are you making fun
of me?
And
then give us 3 good reasons. And you're like, hi, I'm Christopher, and I like orcs because they smell good.
What are you making fun of me right now?
Because they smell good. That's just the way you started. If you'd have heard yourself, Chad, am I wrong? Like the way he started that's exactly what that sounded like. Wow. Right?
I see how this is. Okay. All right. Shots fired. Slings and arrows from both sides. Anyway, I had a real moment there, and I was trying to make a really good moment about painting rusty metal, and Jason buried me in public.
I like orcs because that's what I heard.
Great. Now oh boy.
I like orcs because they smell good, and they can get rusty painted and look really cool.
All right. Well, there you go. There goes my moment, my true, absolute fun moment. Like, yeah, I really like this painting technique. And Jason's like, you sound like a dummy. Like, yeah, man.
I never said you sound like a dummy. Maybe I overdid the voice. I wasn't meaning dummy. You sounded like that cute kid that gets up and tells you.
Oh, I heard what I heard.
My dad's a police officer, and it's really cool.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like I have a Homestar Runner voice, man.
A Homestar Runner voice? Yeah. Wow.
Hey, Stormbad. I like orcs.
Jesus, it's not nice to pick on unfortunate like Chris. Yeah. Thanks,
orcs
General
good when you paint on the rust.
Oh, my gosh. Chris is the kid in the face paint that said, I like turtles. Oh, my
I like turtles.
Oh, my. Fired. I'm completely fired. Yeah, that's right. The Flapjack. I'm totally fired now. This is... Oh, wow.
My favorite color is clear.
I just got essentially got my eviction notice publicly. Here you go. You're done. Oh, man. Grandpa's Thumb. My favorite color is clear. Topher, probably. Oh, my gosh. There he goes. There's your pink slip. Have a nice day. Wow, I'm glad I bring joy to Jason. We all had some tender moments today, and he's just like, well, this is what brings me joy right now. Wow. Buried me alive, chat. I can't follow up with this.
Hey, Moss Ben.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Yikes. Here's a real painting question.
In what situations would you use the Amp Colors Petroleum Brown Wash? Oh, it's fantastic for stains on concrete. It's a great wash over any basing terrain. It's just a great dirty brown. It has a almost sepia feel to it, kind of a greenish yellowy brown. So it's a really great organic brown wash. It can be used on flesh, but I feel like it lives the best on rock and trees and dirt and things of that nature. Dirty armor. It's fantastic. It's a very, very versatile wash. Super versatile. You have the brown wash that's kind of a good center on brown. Then you have the brown gray, which is good for, again, like concrete and dirt. And then you have the petroleum brown, which is almost like a sepia. It's a little bit more yellowy, greenish to it when you play with it. And so between those three browns, anything you would use brown wash for, the other two are very strong contenders to make them look a little bit different. Why do we have the ellipses forever, Christopher?
That's me. That's me being silent.
Oh, that's Chris's silent. He's not talking to us anymore.
No. Oh, my gosh.
I did not insult him. He started that as if, my name is Christopher, and I like orcs because it was like the sentence that he wrote on the pad. He's holding his pad of paper and reading it in front of class. That's what it was.
Perfect. Chris, you gonna be okay? Panic bomb? I'm always okay. Never question me.
Chris is impervious to pain. He's not. He goes home and cries a lot.
I'm dead inside.
He goes home and cries a lot, and then comes back the next day and sits in my office and says, "I have a real problem with you, Jason."
No, I will. I will do that.
Yeah, I know.
Now, Jason. I thought Chris was the only bad liar here, says little Billy.
What did I lie about?
I don't know what you're lying about right now, but
it all sounded true to me.
I will say, going off what Jason just said about petroleum brown gray wash is awesome on droids.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Jordan just did a short that I was editing today that's going to be coming out soon of B2 battle droids, and I really like it. You guys are going to like that one for sure. Oh yeah, Orky Fish. He's gonna go home and talk to his orcs because I'll gather them all in a little corner, give them all a little.
Guys, they were mean to me.
Oh my gosh, Chris gaslighting again, Captain. I'm not gaslighting. I'm not a gaslighter. Chris has been. Gramp. I won't even read that out loud. To be fair, I love we've established that to be fair is Jordan's catchphrase. To be fair, it is Therapy Thursday. It is. That's right. Tech Elf, and that's
but I don't think the goal of Therapy Thursday was to drive Chris to need therapy. That's not the way that is read.
Chris schedules a meeting with HR and realizes that Jason is together with HR. That's the vicious cycle.
That's the only problem with Monument Hobbies. Is that you can't bitch about the ownership because they run everything.
No, hey, yeah, I just write everybody's name down that in a little black book or a little red book that I have.
That's very serial killer, Chris.
Oh, I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start having this little book with me and just writing a name in whenever something.
And then one day, just leave the book open on your desk, and all it says on the side is "Chris is a good boy. Chris is a good boy. Chris is written 1,000,000 times."
All work and no play makes Chris a dull boy. Does Jason know Chris wanted to mass produce Daisy Dukes yesterday? Oh yes, we talked about that. We're gonna start making jorts as Monument Hobbies. We are going to get into the Daisy Dukes. Textile of jeans and denim.
That's great. In our product development meeting today, I'm glad I spent all that time saying we need to stick to what we're good at.
You know what we need, you guys?
Oh, Jesus.
Jorts.
Oh, Jesus.
I had a whole thing where I'm not
You're popping close on this red.
Yeah.
How about them apples?
Oh, look at that. Give us the lowdown.
I just did. We've been talking about the whole time. You just haven't been paying any attention.
Oh, I've been paying attention.
Oh,
I was gonna get that for Ryan.
Now he's gonna blame it all on Ryan. Poor
Ryan. No. I'm trying to help Ryan. Jorts, yes. Yesterday we were talking about jorts, everybody, because I was saying I'm not a huge fan of jorts. I think some people can wear jorts and get away with it, right? I am not one of those people.
I am not one of those people.
I let those people, like Gabe. Gabe, he wears jorts. He likes jorts. That's awesome.
Oh, dang it.
What happened? What did you do?
Dang it,
Is
Chris.
the shoulder plate upside down?
Chris, no, I said I wanted to paint the knee the same color.
Oh. I didn't realize that.
That was like when we first started. I said, I'll do red shoulder plates and red knee pad. And then I was like, oh, then I got really excited about shoulder plates and did not paint the knee pad.
That's okay. Hey, Jason, that's fine, man. That's cool.
It's not.
It's the top and the bottom of the hour, by the way, everybody. Welcome in.
It's not how
it
time
is 3:30.
works.
Welcome in.
Not how time works.
Gamely says, what armies would each of the Homestar runner crew play?
Oh, God.
That's funny.
Okay. So let's take it from the top. Homestar would play Tau.
Okay.
I think. Right? Because he would pick the ones that he thought was the coolest that everybody else made fun of.
Okay.
Right? So Homestar would play Tau. Strong Bad would only play meta armies and always change the rules. So he'd play Strong Bad's army is whatever is meta.
Or hell, Captain says corn.
He'd only play what was meta. Or maybe the cheat. The cheat would only play meta armies. Strong Bad would stick to one really horrible army that he thought was supposed to be really good. Right? Strong Bad would play Skaven. Homestar has Star Wars figures. Hey guys, I bought my army. And it'd be like Star Wars figures.
What about Strong Sad?
Strong Sad would play. He would play Imperial Fists. And his brothers would always give him hell because he didn't play a heretic army. That would be it. They would all play Chaos, and he would play a freaking Imperial army. Quietly. He would have like his army that he would have to play with them, and they'd make fun of his. And in the room by himself, he would play with an honorable army. And then Bubs. Bubs wouldn't play these silly games.
Strong Sad. Kevin Banhammer says Strong Sad, 100% Eldar player, but only Harlequins.
Oh Jesus.
Strong Sad would be emo elves. That's funny. Who would have the pre-3rd edition squat, says Gramps Thumb? Grandpa's Thumb? I have no idea.
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about like these models? Like finding old models? I've been on a kick looking at old Space Wolf models.
Oh, have you?
Yes, trying to find some. Kyle's got some, and it's got me itching to make an old Space Wolves army.
Interesting.
Like old. Well, because this is like getting me. I like the retro theme stuff, right? I understand that everybody does not like the green bases. I like them in a different way. I like the old school look, essentially. No, oh, I see. Grandpa Thumb says no. Who of the crew would have the 3rd edition squats? Oh, I don't know. I don't know which character from Homestar would have 3rd edition squats. That's a complicated question.
Marzipan would blow everybody's mind.
Marzipan
would blow everybody's mind.
Because
nobody would think that she even cared, right? And she would come out and at the end, and she would blow all their minds and say, "Oh, I've got you all beat," and she would have the most obscure.
Yeah, I'm on a big old hammer kick right now, looking for stuff. But also, come to find out, it ain't cheap.
Oh no, there's like dreadnoughts at $1,000.
It is
dude.
not cheap. So this army will not come to fruition. It's just not cheap.
Kyle's got the Marnius Calgar diorama model in all metal that he wants me to paint, but he can't find the throne.
And that throne is
he has
actually
the dudes, but he doesn't have the throne, and the throne's like
it's $1,000.
Well, the full kit is.
No, he was looking at the chair the other day.
Oh.
I believe somebody was selling the chair.
No, I think it was the whole thing.
Oh, it was the whole kit?
It was the whole thing. He's like a new in box one was like $1,200.
That is very expensive. But that one was new in box, right? The one, but he's got it.
Well, it was complete. Yeah.
He's got to look for that chair. He's got to find the chair.
Yeah, he's got to find it in his stash because that would be fun to paint because it's got the one guard and the armor on the.
What's it called?
Marnius Calgar.
Marnius Calgar.
OG Marnius Calgar. He's sitting in a throne with the dual power fists. I thought it was interesting the treatment they gave his character in the comics.
Kyle says the whole thing is $999.99.
Crazy.
Wow. Toilet Calgar, $1,200. Wow. The Chronic Toe says, Old Hammer, we talking about the man or the mini? Whoa. The Chronic Toe's coming in hot and heavy.
That guy.
Wow.
Better watch it, kid.
From left field.
Better watch it, kid.
Yeah, Old Hammer's old and expensive. So probably not going to happen, but that's okay. I have too many armies to paint anyway.
Said no one ever.
I have too many.
That's the thing we tell our significant others before we go to the game store. Don't worry, honey. I have too many armies already.
That's what I tell my... Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Gotta take the banana Laffy Taffy flavor energy and run with it while I can, says the Chronic Toast. Hey! Good for you.
That's horrible. You know Chronic Toast. You've hung out, Chris.
I don't like it. I saw an article in the news suggesting that people should check in often on their elderly. So here I am. Whoa! Ouch! Thank you. Killing it.
So there are exactly.
Tell that was.
What is today? What's the date today? 22nd.
Yes.
There are exactly 8 more days before I am elderly. Before I start having to throw away more AARP flyers out of my mailbox. Before I get $1 off at IHOP and Denny's and all the places that are nice to old folks. Right?
Okay.
Right?
I see.
So I don't have to put up with this from you youngsters yet.
Yeah.
This is not the way that my life has to be right now.
Look at that. What do you
I
open?
saw an article in the news suggesting that people should check in often. Well, I'm glad you're here.
He's eating
Checking
a
in
cookie.
on Chris.
Whoa!
All the best peeps are born in May. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe.
Pro Paint Taster agrees.
Grant, you're okay.
I mean,
Game stores, I need to offer an AR discount soon. Hey, good.
I mean,
that would be cool.
Yours was the 11th,
Nice.
and you got the transparency. Nice. That's a
awesome.
good gift. Don't make me pull this stream over, children.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll hit the kill switch. I'll
He
hit
does
the kill
have
switch.
it, by the way. He'll just be like, done put up with you people.
No, I would never do that. I am here for you guys, regardless.
Well, Chris was jibber jabber, and I did the knee.
How'd you do the knee?
Exactly the same way I did the shoulder plates, except faster.
Oh,
should have been watching.
I was interacting with the people. How many ding dongs do you want to straight celebrate? Oh, okay. No, he's not even going to be here, Chronic Toast. He's not going to be here on his birthday.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. I'm not. What is this thing on his thigh?
I don't know. Here, I'm going to zoom in. I want to see it. Look at that.
What the hell is that?
Can you turn it sideways for me? I have zero idea
What is that?
It looks like a makeshift plate to protect whatever that, I don't know. Looks like a weird knee thing, but then
I thought it might be like a smaller version of the Inquisitional Eye, but it's not, I don't think. I don't know what the hell that is.
Mo says it's a book.
I
It's
don't
the
know.
Inquisition emblem?
No. No, it's really weird. It's like the panel Darth Vader has on his chest.
Oh.
Because it has a lot of little like circles and then some lines like buttons.
Is it a teleport? Oh, wait. No. Grandpa's thumb says it is the Inquisition emblem.
No, it's not. It 100% is not. Unless it's just a horrible sculpt. It has like three little bitty dots. Then it's got some dashes and things like that. So no, it's not.
Blood Walrus. It looks like a control panel.
Yeah, it does. It looks like some sort of weird control panel or something.
Little Deet and Doot machine.
Little Deet Doot machine. There's one over here
Casio
too.
pocket computer. That's what it is.
The one over here is the same. That looks almost like it's supposed to be like a crack grenade or something. You know how they used to do the grenade?
Oh. Crack grenade.
But again, it looks, yeah, it's very strange. EW is very strange. Very, very strange.
Hydraulic controller that controls the leg? Who knows? It's an MP3 player, says Okran. That's
I'm down. I'm down. The thing on his chest is the Inquisition symbol. The thing on his leg, I don't know what that is.
I think it's a control panel.
All right, control panel it is. So it's going to be silver with buttons on it.
Silver with buttons.
Kyle brought the painting guide in, and I think this model's in there. So we should get the painting guide and look at it. He brought
Kyle,
that book
I know you're
he
in
brought
there.
that book
Kyle,
to work today.
Kyle, bring that over if you see that model in there.
I forgot.
Kyle,
we have a
I saw
reference.
you in chat. Kyle.
We have a reference for it.
I'm going to chat you right now, Kyle. Because that actually would be
You're not safe,
cool.
Kyle. Nobody's safe.
Oh, you're safe, all right.
Nobody's safe, chat. Chris is on a rampage.
Oh, nobody's safe.
He's writing your name in his book. Chris calls it journaling. We're all in trouble.
I wouldn't want to be in that journal.
His psychiatrist said, "You need to start a journal, Christopher." And so Christopher started.
I would like you to start.
Christopher went and watched Kill Note.
Journal. It's the panel that runs the Lego. Yeah, it could. You know, here's the thing. I think we're gonna stick with the control panel, everybody.
It feels right.
I think so. Rampage Chris nickname doesn't check out. Yeah, I'm a very ladies and gentlemen.
The one, the only.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the
Kyle
illustrious
Kinghorn.
The illustrious.
Don't trip, dude.
The lovely. The beautiful.
You gave me all the books?
Let me see that. Which do you know which one it's in? The Inquisitor.
This one. That's some old hammer.
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
It's heavy metal painting guide. It's the heavy metal painting guide.
It's so glossy for the camera lights.
Holy mackerel.
Thank you, Kyle.
This is some great stuff right here. Inquisition, no, Eldar, Imperium, 76.
I'm gonna zoom this lens out here for a second. I want people to see this magnificent, just all of the glory.
The Imperial armies of the Imperium. Look at these silly little Imperial guardsmen.
That's fun, dude.
Commissars, rattling snipers, Imperial agents, arbitrators, squats.
Wow. Squats.
Here are the squats in their one page of glory. Tyranids when there were only 2 models of them. They did have Gene Stealers, though. That's funny. The old Gene Stealer Magus. I forgot about that.
That's cool.
More Tyranids. Oh,
Mo
my God.
says
The
those
old
were
Tyranid
state of the art
warriors
back
were
then.
Literally the worst.
What the heck is that,
They were
bro?
literally, zoom in on that. They were literally the worst. Some of the worst models, like That's the way they look. That's the way they make that sound when you move them across the table. And then look at this guy.
Look at that, dude. Oh.
The Carnifex, the Screamer Killer.
They
He's
redid
like,
that sculpt.
Herpaderp.
Herberber chicky. It's the Swedish. That's hilarious. Okay. Maybe he's in there. Maybe he's not. Who knows? Look at that old Plague Bearer. Oh, those old Chaos Nurgle models are fun.
The pink horrors with the huge hands.
Look at those hands.
The one-boobed Slaneshi demonette.
Wow.
Well,
I thought it was in there. Maybe not.
Space Marines. Orcs have 5 million pages.
There was a lot of orcs, right?
Well, it was Space Marines, Orcs, and Eldar were the only really big factions.
Okay.
Right? At the beginning. And these were all the dudes that were so silly looking because like they were metal bodies and some of them had like the plastic arms and the scale seemed off between the two. Like this guy. Like look at how long and gimpy his arm looks.
Holy crap.
Right? Because it was like
it
the
looks
plastic
like
power
it's got like a
fist.
gorilla arm on a small person body.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the plastic arm.
Those Space Wolves, those are the ones that Kyle had.
Yeah.
Did he have that one? I don't remember.
I think he's got Ragnar.
He's got a lot of cool stuff.
I don't think we have the Inquisitor in here, unfortunately.
Okay. We tried.
We got all sorts of other crazy stuff. There's the Space Wolf Iron Priest.
All the base. Yes. Subconscious green bases. They are the green bases.
No.
Yes.
No.
They're coming.
Nope. Not doing it.
We're doing it.
Not doing it.
He already said he would.
Not doing it.
Not doing it.
Not doing it. No.
I think he'll do it for us.
Not
but we have
doing
a surprise. We're going to do it in the monument way.
No,
now, see,
you can't make me.
Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have just gone all antique orcs.
Snakebite Knob riding a cyborg.
Oh, dude, those models are probably so
Teach
expensive.
you how to paint leopard print.
I just saw that. Those are probably very expensive. Look at that Def Dread.
Yeah. They're so funny with the arms like up in the air.
Yeah, I love that. So
it's the
chunky.
Orc Dreadnought with a goblin riding it.
Who painted all of these?
The studio. The Heavy Metal team. Heavy Metal. All right, well,
you
tough
tried.
nuggies. Because this one, I think, this one's too new. This one has
That one is too new.
This one has modernish.
This is the one that I bought years ago.
Modernish dudes in it, I think.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah, this is all.
This is the same one I bought.
This is all. There's lots of plastics and such and stuff. I have that. I have that guy. I have that Black Templar chaplain. Metal. He's metal. Very metal. Yeah, because this has got the new Marnius Calgar in it and stuff. Oh, and the new Giants and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Tough nuggies. No luck. It's a panel.
It's a panel. It's a panel. It's a panel. It's a panel. It's a control panel. Controlling something and we don't know what it is.
It's a teleport, Homer.
Somebody was saying that earlier.
Oh, somebody said that?
I think so. Like is it a teleport thingy?
Yeah, we could do it like a teleport Homer or something like that.
Orky Fish, you can use your mold making skills and make your own orcs. I don't know if I could do that. I have not tried.
Chris is good at everything. He can make it happen.
This is false.
Chris, go make me a chocolate watch.
A chocolate watch?
Yes.
I can't.
You have to.
I'm not good at it.
Yeah,
though.
15 minutes.
I have 15 minutes to make a chocolate watch.
15 minutes.
Well, you're done.
15 minutes, Chris. This is your saw challenge.
My saw challenge is to make a chocolate watch.
Here's
in
a
15 minutes.
Here's a peck of
horrible.
Nestle's morsels,
Nestle's morsels, okay.
an easy bake oven,
and a will to live.
and a will to live.
Oh, you're painting the gauntlet too.
Just the fingers.
Okay.
I was thinking about painting them gold, but then I thought that would be a little too outlandish when I'm going to separate the hand from the rest of the body of the power fist, because I'm going to do whatchamacallit, hazard stripes. We're going to do the body of the fist in power stripes. Hazard stripes, not power stripes. Hazard stripes.
You know what, Orky Fish? Watch the Craftsman steady crafting. I've seen the Craftsman. He's a very popular YouTube channel. I'll have to rewatch some of his stuff. I haven't watched his channel in a while. I have too many projects, Orky. I've got too many projects. Too many projects I want to work on right now, and that's the problem.
It's like when you find your muse,
Yeah.
it throws all the ideas at you at once.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, you'll go and be like, yes, and you go to like eBay or wherever. You'll buy all the things, and then you'll have years worth of shame.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to take it I'm trying not to buy anything else, right? Because also now, here's the thing. Now Kyle's trying to get Gabe and I into Horus Heresy.
Which you should. It's a great game.
Yes, I would agree.
I have an army. I'll play you. I have 2 armies.
Here's what I would say. I do have so many projects, though.
Oh, here come the excuses, Chad.
I would love to have like a
I would love
Horus
to be able
Heresy,
to say yes, but...
And he graciously gave us some models to start. So I was waiting to see, because I've always wanted to
Kyle's got a problem when he can just be like, here's some armies to get you going.
Yes, he does. He's a beautiful man. So I'm going to wait because there's some big announcements coming up. I want to see what they do with the demons, because I was going to make a demon army, because I've been really liking painting demons, right?
Okay, Jordan.
Which would be fun because there's a rule for those. So I'm waiting to see if they have updated rules. If not, then I'm going to do a Sons of Horus army that he gave me. He gave me some old sculpts that I actually really like. They're really cool looking. And then I would get a Horus and paint up a Horus.
The Ascended, like I have?
Uh-huh. I think so, because he's worth a lot of points, so it would fill the point gap a little bit.
Oh, my God. So I only have to have one big model.
Kind of.
This is Chris.
And then I'll put an Earthworm Jim on him, too.
Chris.
I don't know. That's what I was giving Grant.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Horus Heresy doesn't become fun until you get to, like, 3,000 points. Well, so they are huge armies. But you can get, like, I have a Warhound Titan. You can put a Warhound Titan on the table.
See, that would be fun.
Right? You can put Titans on the table.
Titans would be fun. In Horus Heresy, you can?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
They existed. That's a thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you can do a Warhound. You can do a Reaver. I think the biggest you can get, I think if you play 3,500 points, you can just play with a Warlord Titan, because I think it's like 3,500 points.
In 40K, it's worth 3,500 points. I don't know if it is in Horus Heresy.
Yeah, but you could play with like a Warlord Titan. Just one. You just get one model.
I could do that.
And it'd die quick, because people have tanks that cost, less than a third of the cost of your Titan that would take it out in like 2 shots.
Orky says, I do want a Titan. I almost got one a few weeks ago. That's pretty crazy commitment right there.
I mean, the Warhounds aren't that bad.
The Warhounds, no. I'm talking about
the Reavers start being like $1,200.
The Warlord.
Now they've started selling them to where you can't even get a full one, right? You have to buy all the parts and pieces, and I don't even know if they sell them anymore.
You can. If you go on the site, you can buy them. You have to buy them in separate pieces. It's just separate. But
you can only buy the body. Then you have, for the Warlord, you have to buy a head and all the weapons separate, right?
Yeah. Which is cool. I
think you get the Reaver. I think you get the body and the head.
You could also probably
and then you have to buy the weapon, the 2 arms.
You could also probably find proxies out there and make like a big FDM version. It's obviously
well, that's what we have, is a proxied Warhound.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Right.
Proxies are fine. Get you playing. Get you painting. Yes, it's mad about the price. Yes, the weapons are crazy of the Titans.
Yeah, just to buy the hand on the Warlord Titan is like $300 or $400 for the Power Fist.
Power Fist, and then you can buy a gun. There's like separate things for it. But we'll see. We'll see. I've got too many projects. I got too many projects going on.
I want a Stormbird, but they're like
a Stormbird.
Yeah, they're like $1,500, and I don't want to build it. I feel like for $1,500 it should just show up done, right? Shouldn't it? Am I wrong? Should the emblems also be in gold or what? Should I do those in silver?
What else would they be in? Would they
Well,
be
maybe
in
the
colored
silver that
metal,
I'm doing
like
now?
red metals or anything, like colored emblems or like brasses or something?
I don't know.
What about copper? Would they be copper?
Could be in bone.
Bone?
I used to do the Crux
No, Mo,
Terminatus
there's
symbols on
nothing.
Terminator shoulder
There's
pads
nothing.
in bone.
There's nothing wrong with too many projects, Mo. I just have too many projects. And Jason, it's almost time.
What? Oh my God. All right. All right, Chris. Have it your way. Fun
Nothing
killer.
wrong with too many projects. I just have to decide one.
Fun killer, Chris.
And I don't know.
1,500 faints? What are we talking about? You saw 1,500 and you fainted?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
It's probably, you're talking about $1,500. To buy a Warlord Titan, it comes out to just under $2,000.
Well, I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like over 3,000.
If you buy the, depending on what weapons you buy, some are more expensive than others, right? Like the sculpts are more expensive. I could be wrong, but just the
big plasma decimator.
Yeah.
Versus the volcano cannon.
Such epic weapon names. The volcano cannon.
Plasma decimator. There's
the world ender.
There's a really cool little video that was out on the internet that showed the Warlord Titan walking with its void shields up, and then you hear chatter and fire from the near field distance that these, munitions fly up towards it and hit the rocket off the void shield, and it's just walking, and then it stops.
Yeah.
And turns sideways towards the incoming fire, and you see the volleys of fire hit the void shield, and then you see the plasma decimator start powering up and whine, and then it fires, and the whole screen
just
goes
blows
overexposed as it overexposes the light, and then
Yeah.
it goes back down, and it's all quiet.
That's
and
awesome.
the void shield flickers back to life because the void shield has to go down when they fire the weapon.
Yeah.
And then it flickers back to life and it turns and starts walking off again.
Just obliterates the whatever part.
Yeah, it was like screw everything in that general direction. It was so good. It felt so awesome that GW does a horrible job of making Titans feel awesome nowadays because they reduce the scale of them in the lore somewhere along the line.
Oh, I see.
When they started wanting to sell knights and sell Titan models, they reduced the scale in the lore because they could never make the scale feel right on the table. Has to be the reason.
Otherwise, it's just so massive.
Yeah, I mean, there are books with Space Marines, companies of Space Marines fighting inside the leg of Imperator Titans.
Yeah.
Right, like it's got a inner staircase that goes up the leg, and there's companies of Marines fighting on this stairway trying to get to the top of the machine.
Yeah.
They like blow through its foot and start charging to take it over while it's walking.
Yeah.
And you can imagine the theatrical presence of this big lumbering beast, and there's Space Marines fighting inside of its leg, running up along the ramps that lead up around the inner pistons that are driving the leg and stuff. Now you get a Warlord, and it's like, it looks like 3 dudes could drive it. It doesn't have any size to it.
Which is cool.
The Imperator, they know they can't build because it's just like, it carries a city on its shoulders, for crying out loud.
Yeah. You've seen so many proxies of that, too.
Yeah. That's why I want to build that one we have that's for Adeptus Titanicus.
Show some scale.
Because, the scale on that one is ridiculous. That would be a good next project, Chris.
Imperator. You said it's like 200 pieces, though.
It's like 200 resin pieces,
well,
and
so
I think it's like 16 inches tall.
Well, I do want to do a series.
At Titanicus scale, it's like 16 inches tall. The Warlord Titan for Titanicus is only as big as like a big dreadnought.
I have one. I have that War Master, which is
the
bigger.
War Master is like smaller than a knight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
love that. But yes, I do want to do a series on painting big models. I've wanted to do that, so
that could be a really good one. I could be pressed when I get back from Poland to like build that model.
I don't mind building it. It's also like how we'd have to think about it, right? Otherwise, because that could be kind of cool to tie in with me painting some.
Well, it would have to be done in sub assemblies.
Okay.
It would have to be done in sub assemblies. I couldn't hold it.
That's
while
what
I
I'm
paint
saying.
It. It's just too big.
We do it in sub-assemblies?
Yeah, and we do a lot of airbrush with it too. So that would be a lot of fun, though. That thing would be rad if I painted up. Chat, would you enjoy... it would take a long time is the only problem, right?
Right.
A model like that takes up so much screen time.
It's not bad, though.
And I don't know how bored people get when we do those long series, because that model would literally need to be weeks of painting.
Here's what I would say. I think we could find enough cool things on it to come up with topics on it, right?
Oh, yeah, because we could do some really cool freehand, because we could do, like, crazy murals.
We could do, like, emblems
the chapels on its shoulder. It's crazy.
We're going to have to find that in the storage room. But, no, we were cleaning this up, and we saw that box, so I know it's in there. We just have to build it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could figure that out.
What do you think, Chat?
I think people, are you into it?
I think some people are down for it, and other people
Dusty
are like,
Hobbies likes it. Here for the Sulfurish says here for the convo mostly. I like that. We always have texture trainers on hand for other topics too. More bus, less Warhammer, says Tim.
See, I knew I was just about to say, if Lumberjack Tim is here, we're screwed. Because Lumberjack Tim would be like, no Warhammer. He's so grumpy, Chat. Tim is Sir Grumps a lot.
Never bored. Hey, that's why we're here. Because then, we could... We'll plan it out. Because you're right, Jason. That's a long time.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of
We'd
the
have to
same
keep you
model.
Jazzed.
Yeah. Because it's going to be, lots of surfaces that are the same color. I think airbrushing it and getting it going would be fun.
I think it'd be kind of we'll.
It's like painting a vehicle. It's like painting a big vehicle, because I have some stupid stuff. I mean, we have the big storm hammer tank for $30K.
You have the Warhammer. We have the Warhound Proxy Titan.
Yeah, we've got the Warhound.
I think the beneficial part of that is how to paint a big model without going crazy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because people do have big models. They're big out there, right? So how do you tackle painting a big model? That's what it would be about.
And that Warhound is a Lucius pattern Warhound.
What's that mean? It's
the square body one that I love, not the Mars. That's why I got it, because it's a Lucius, and you can't buy those, so it's a proxied Lucius, which is, to me, the best looking one. I love the square carapace.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll think about it. Chat. There you have it. That's it. That's it for us. On that subject. It is also 4:02.
It is also 4 o'clock.
We made a lot of progress today.
We do have that big Marvel Undead Galactus as well.
I mean, we had Cthulhu.
It's coming back.
Oh, because
I just actually contacted him today. He's bringing it back. He bit off more than he could chew. He can't paint it.
Oh, it's that's a massive model.
It's just too big of a model. And he does commission work, and he's like, I don't have time to do this. And I was like, so why'd you take it?
Yeah.
Finn Quinn Stagger, thank you so much for being here. You're here for it, Blood Walrus. We'll find some fun stuff.
Yeah,
the bigger the model, the harder it is to fit on stream, because it's like we can paint like one part in the time it would take us to paint this guy, and it just doesn't come together as a story. Yeah. But using it as a method to say how I approach painting large models and giving you like how I base, how I choose my first colors. It's much like the Painting the Tank series that we did. Where we can show like panel highlighting, how do you go about airbrushing your base coats, how I go about weathering, and you could like put base color on the whole thing and then focus on like one part of it for finishing and come up with some really good content.
We would piece it out.
Awkwardish, we appreciate you in equal measure, if not more. So thank you so much.
Yes.
And that goes for everybody out there that chooses to spend some time with us. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us, listen to bad jokes, and watch paint dry. So thanks so much. We've been doing this for a long time and had an amazing crowd the entire time. Thanks for being part of it. For those of you that are new, please hit the follow button if you're over on Twitch, or the sub button if you're on YouTube. We stream to both platforms Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Phoenix, Arizona, live from Monument HQ. If you do not have any of our products yet, next time you're looking for some paint, give us a shout. Check out the links that Chris put in chat, monumenthobbies.com for all of our goodies. The store locator, which will show you friendly local gaming stores in areas nearer to you where you can go support your local scene and also get some amazing hobby products, as well as our Discord, where we have some ridiculous amount of people. Nobody reminds me anymore.
Yeah.
So
Ghost Hunter hasn't been in.
Ghost
here
Hunter. I
towards
hope
the
Ghost
end.
Hunter's doing well.
I think he was moving, so
He was
I know
moving,
he's
yeah.
doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, like nearly 6,000 amazing community members over on Discord. We'd love to see you over there. If you're not there already, go join, hit the link, do the thing, and stick around because Chris is going to take us off into a raid. Show some love to whoever we wind up with. It'll take you on with some more hobby out throughout your evening. And we'll be back here tomorrow for the Weekender on a Friday. It's Friday tomorrow, Chris. That's crazy. So we'll see you tomorrow for Friday. Have a wonderful evening. I'm out of here, gang.